Well, hello, everyone. I'm so happy that you could join us for this interview with Miss Mia Vasquez. I'm so excited about Mia's book, and she's here to join us and tell us a little bit about that. So, Mia, welcome.
Hello.
Hey, it's good to have you here. So, I guess before we get started, let's tell the audience a little bit about yourself. Um, where are you from in the country? What part of the country do you live in?
So I currently live in Arizona. I resided most of my life in El Paso, Texas, but I consider myself from Germany because I moved there when I was 3 weeks old and I lived there till I was about 5.
Ah, okay, okay. I was stationed in Germany for a while. I loved it there. Matter of fact, my kiddo was born there in Hanau. Which part of Germany were you in?
Close to Berlin.
Okay, right. It's beautiful, beautiful area there. Beautiful area. So, how did you get into writing? Have you kind of always been a writer, or did something trigger you to get into writing?
A little bit of both. I actually have always been a writer, but I kind of dropped it at a certain point when I entered college. I was like, no, I'm not going to write anymore. And then the pandemic happened and I had this great opportunity. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take a writing class. And that just kind of reblossomed my love for writing. And I'm like, you know what? I want to get my writing out there. I want to share that with people because it was so well received when I was younger.
And I can understand that. Absolutely, absolutely. So let me ask you this. What was the first book that kind of inspired you to keep going? Do you remember? I know for me, it was probably Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. I remember reading that book like it was yesterday, and it must have been third grade. But what about you? Is there a particular book that kind of inspired you to keep pushing?
As far as like authors that inspire me, I was always a big fan of the Hunger Games because I like the idea of trial and test and what is humanity going to do. So that would be one of them. There's so many to name, but that would be one of my top favorite ones.
Ah,
It like
okay.
kind of like kept me going because like Katniss, she despite all of her hardships, she's go through so much and that's myself. I've had a hard life sometimes, so that's like encouraging for me. Like, yeah, I gotta finish to the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. So tell us about this book that you have. So when is the book out?
Well, it's actually out today, so you can get a copy like ASAP.
Okay, and where can they find this book? What stores is it sold in, or are you selling it, or where is it?
You can get it from my website, which I can drop the link down below. Or you can also get it from Barnes and Noble or off of Amazon. There's so many options as to where you can get it. The benefit, though, of ordering it from me is it's only a little bit more pricey, like $5 more, and then you can get it signed. So that's the benefit if you order straight from my website.
Perfect, perfect. So tell us about the book. What genre is it first? Uh-oh, Mia, did I?
So it's oh, we broke up for a second. Okay, I heard your question though, so let me go ahead and answer it for you. Um, so it's a king who has to battle an evil enchantress and has to change his ways in order to save his kingdom.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's a fantasy novel.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay. So do you always write fantasy or do you write other things too?
I'm dabbling in other things. I don't know if those other things will be published, but so far it's been like mostly fiction based that I seem drawn to.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this book sounds really interesting when we start talking about kings and all that kind of mystical stuff. It kind of gets my attention. That sounds really interesting, very interesting. So is it a series of books or is it like a standalone book?
So right now it only has so right now it's a standalone book. However, since this is the collector editions that came out, the first one was very received very well, and there was a lot of curiosity about certain characters. So it made me think maybe some of the characters I can do like spin-off, expand the universe. I haven't fully decided on that yet, though. However, I did decide if I do any fantasy that this will kind of be the root of my most of my universes. I did decide that.
Ah, okay. So I look forward to that. Maybe a boxed set one day or something.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so, I know it's fantasy, but what kind of research did you have to do for this book, or did you people watch, or how did you come up with some of your character development for the book?
I had to dig into history big time. And then I had to try to connect the missing dots because um, it's about Babylonian myths and mythology. And that history is so badly lost because that area has gone through so much. So it's so hard to preserve that history of that first civilization that I had to go and pull from Celtic and Greek and be like, okay, is this the same god that they're talking about here in this little plaque that they found somewhere? It sounds similar. So it had to pull and try to connect and make it make sense to the best of my ability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, a lot of times, well, also, before I get to this next question, what's the title of the book?
It's called Forgotten Babylon. And the
Forgot.
reason is because so many people don't like teach the Babylonian mythology. You might hear about Gilgamesh, which actually Gilgamesh is slightly based off of Gilgamesh. But yeah, you don't hear too much about Babylon. So I was like, you know what? Forgotten, because people have forgotten that history for a lot part.
That's an interesting title. I like that. So, a lot of people wonder, how does it work when you're writing a book? How many hours a day did you write? Did you have a certain schedule? Is it something that just you woke up one morning, rolled out of bed and wrote it? Tell them a little bit about your process for writing.
So I wish it was that easy, like, oh, hey, I'm gonna write today. It
Mm-hmm.
takes normally what I do is I will put an hour aside. I try to do at least 1 hour a day, longer if possible. There are some nights where I'll be like, hey, I didn't get to do my hour a day, so I'm gonna do 3 or 4 today. But for the most part, it's an hour a day. I like to actually go to like little coffee shops. I like to try to little coffee shops, not necessarily buy coffee, but I'll get like a fruity shake or something and be like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy this as I'm typing. So a lot of times I try to enjoy either the scenery that's outside, because a lot of those coffee shops have little outdoor things so you can watch the birds
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So I try to like have some place that gives me some serenity, I suppose you could say.
Right. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on to share about this book, Forgotten Babylon. So everybody go out and get your copy today, wherever books are sold, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, Target, wherever. And drop me a line. Now, Mia, how can they stay in touch with you and let you know how much they enjoyed the book or whatnot?
So on the website there's all the social medias, but you can also reach me through the LinkedIn or um there's an email on the website, Foxy moxiemedia@gmail.com. Again, I'll put all those links for you to share with them. But those are some of the ways. I'm also on TikTok. There's like way too many social medias to list them all, but probably the one I'm most active on is the Facebook, the TikTok, and the Instagram. So those are probably the best places, like, hey, shoot me a message there. Or
Perfect.
like I said.
Perfect. All right, everyone. So, Forgotten Babylon with author Mia Vasquez. Again, Mia, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. You take care. Have a great day.